There we go.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Can you guys see the screen?
No,
Oh, that's weird. And we just
we
practiced
just
this
practiced
earlier.
to
Oh
make sure.
no. Let me see.
No pressure.
Right, right.
All right, let me see what I did here.
There,
All right, can we see it now?
coming. There it is.
All
Yes.
right, perfect. Okay, awesome. All right, so welcome, Michelle and everybody, to our new student check-in. So, as I was explaining earlier, this is really just a chance for you guys to hear from us one-on-one. And if you have any questions for us later, we can go over them. This is recorded, so we're going to share it with everybody via email later. So, in case you weren't aware, I'm one of your advisors, Minoska Hernandez, and then we have our co-advisor, awesome Adriana Kelly. I don't know if you wanted to say anything,
Yeah,
Adriana.
I'll just say hi. You might not have seen my name yet. I know Minoska's been communicating with you, but I'm also your academic advisor. So you can hit up both of us for any questions that you have.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. All right, so to start things off, what you can expect, we're going to talk about what is going to happen in your classes, like the formatting. We'll go over a little bit about your financial aid and how payment works and all of that. And also, we'll talk about field placement and when you will expect to hear from the field team. Okay, so just to begin with course design. So if you weren't already aware, you probably know because you started your classes already. We run on a 7-week schedule. Okay, so you're in your first term right now, and it's going to go through 7 weeks. It's a bit quick paced, as I'm sure you're aware. There's a lot of reading, there's a lot of writing. I know the first few classes are a little dense, but that's not going to be the entirety of the program. That's just this one course. So push through it, and I promise that you can do the rest of the program easy. So that's how it works. Every professor is different. So some of them will open all of the modules up right away. Some of them will do it one or two at a time. I'm also a student, not in this program, but in a different program. And it's the same. Every professor is different. Some of them love it when you work ahead. Others just want you to focus on the one, just on the assignments for the week. So it's the same in this track, okay? Um, Registration. So you were registered by us this first semester. However, come your second semester in the program, you will be responsible for registering yourself. You will get information from us, of course. We're not just going to leave you hanging. Typically, those emails come from Adriana, and she's really great about breaking down exactly what you need to register for and exactly how you can register for it. So please keep an eye out on those emails. They will come soon, I think, for fall, Adriana, right?
Yeah, so late June, we'll be sending out registration emails for the fall semester.
Yes. So please keep an eye on your UCF email. In general, keep an eye out on your UCF email. That's where you're going to get all the communication, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But yeah, so if you have any questions about registration, you can always follow up with us, but you will be getting more information later. So I'm not sure if this has happened yet, but the university adds all students to a few web courses, and one of them is called Pressure to Plagiarize. You have to get this done. If you do not, you will be there will be a hold placed on your account, and you won't be able to register for your next semester courses until that module is completed. There's also a Let's Be Clear module. That one's a little wonky. I don't know what's been going on with that one, but same thing. In case it pops up, get it done as soon as you can. There's typically a deadline, so just get it done by the deadline, or else there'll be a hold placed on your account. There are times, especially with the Pressure to Plagiarize module, where you're done, but it still shows that you have a hold and you haven't completed it. You can always email us and we'll get you the contact information if necessary. But if you just go into your MyUCF and click on the hold, it gives you the email or the contact that you need to reach out to in order to get the hold lifted if you've already completed that module. Okay? And lastly, it's important for you to always keep an eye out on your MyUCF to-do items. That will tell you the things that you need to complete in order to get any hold lifted or to prevent any holds. Sometimes there are things that are on there that have nothing to do with holds. It's just like completing your plan of study or financial aid stuff. It's just good to keep an eye out on it. And if you have any doubts or questions, you can always reach out to Adriana or myself. Okay, so next, what to expect regarding your finances. So you still have time to submit your FAFSA for the 2025-2026 year. I know this is very confusing. It's confusing for me. But you are finalizing the 2024-2025 FAFSA right now. So whatever um, money you're using up now, it's just for the summer, and then it will start again in the fall. So if you want to use financial aid for 2025-2026 academic year, you have to go ahead and begin the process and submit that now. And we do have a few links here, so if you have any questions or want more details, you can always click on them. But so once you've been awarded your money, right, your financial aid, you have to accept it or decline it. If you don't accept, you're not going to get the money, so you have to accept it. And there's a way for you to decide how much money you're going to use up. So it's important for you to go ahead and do that. And the link that we have provided there, or the hyperlink we provided there, gives you an in-depth video on how exactly to do that. Um, that financial aid stuff, like I mentioned before, will be in your UCF to-do list. So it's really important for you to check up on that. It'll always pop up with new updates. And I believe anyways, UCF may send you an email saying that, oh, you've been awarded financial aid. I believe that's correct, right, Adriana?
Yeah, they should directly contact you. This is just another piece. The MyUCF to-do list is just a great place to get used to checking.
Yes, yeah. So definitely, it's good just to check at least once a week. You don't have to go in there every day, but at least once a week, go into your MyUCF account just to see if there's any updates. There's also going to be a fee invoice information that you can click on. So it will provide your due date information. That's really important because you don't want to miss any deadlines. However, I will let you know that for our deadline, it's different from the main campus typically. If it'll ever align, we'll let you know. There's going to be a lot of changes coming up, but we always send you a calendar, our personal online MSW calendar with more information. As you know, you got the summer one. If you haven't or you have any questions about it, please let us know. Um, but our tuition is not due until July 25th. So you don't have to worry about that. And I believe you already should have gotten your aid, right, Adriana, after the add drop period, term one.
Right.
For summer, that's when we here typically get your aid when it's dispersed. For fall and spring, it's a little bit different. Yes, you get it after the add drop deadline, but the add drop deadline for term two. So remember, we're split into two terms. Each term is 7 weeks. So term one, 7 weeks, term two, 7 weeks. You already got the aid for this summer. For fall, you'll get it term two. And don't freak out or anything because again, our deadlines are different. Our deadlines are typically deferred. Adriana, I don't know if there's any clarification that needs to happen, but
Yeah, it just has to do with the number of credit hours
mhm,
you're enrolled. So each semester in your first year, you'll take 6 total credit hours, which is enough to qualify for aid.
mhm,
But in the summer, you only have to take 3 hours to qualify for aid. So it releases early. So it releases in the first term. Whereas in the fall and the spring, you have to enroll in at least 4.5 hours to get your aid, and your second class doesn't start, it doesn't show that you're enrolled in it until after it starts.
mhm,
So that's why it's released later for term two in the fall and the spring.
mhm,
That said, that's only your first year.
mhm,
In your second and third year in the program, you will have enough hours right out of the gate. So it will always release in the first term in all of your subsequent semesters. So just this first year is a little strange.
Mm.
What I'll do is before we send this out to you with a copy of the presentation, I'll put a little note in there saying in the first year it's like this, in the second and third year it's like this. So it'll be a little clearer.
Awesome. Thank you. And just lastly, Barbara Bush, who we'll mention her a little bit later, of course, in her role, but she's your wonderful success coach. She's very helpful. You may have gotten in contact with her during the admission process as well, but she has access to your financial aid side of things. As advisors, we're more academic side, so we don't really see exactly what you see or what she sees. So if you have any specific questions regarding your situation and your particular situation, she is the best person to contact, especially before reaching out to financial aid, because they may or may not know how the online track works, but Barbara does. So she's your best bet. All
So now
right.
I get to talk to you about field placement. So that might be something that you're thinking about now as you're in your first semester and you're wondering kind of how that process works. Generalist field placement is going to begin at the start of your second year. So you started in summer 25. Summer 26 is when you'll start your field placement. That will be in May. So it's a three semester placement, your generalist year. So it runs the entire length of the semester, unlike our term one and term two classes, which are just 7 weeks long. So you'll take academic classes in term one and term two, and then you'll also enroll in a field course that is the length of the semester. Even though it's the length of the semester, you don't have to submit things every week. It'll be every other week. You'll have supervision logs, your hours, signatures, things like that that will be due, along with maybe a discussion post about things in your placement. So be sure to keep an eye on your UCF email. That's something that we will always emphasize. Check it more than once a week. If every day, if you can, there are ways to have it on your phone. It's just really important that you keep an eye out on that because all the information that UCF is going to send you is going to go there. And while I know they send a lot of stuff, some of it is very important. Next semester, specifically, you will begin the field placement process. So it takes about 6 months to go through the whole process. And what that whole process is an application that you essentially fill out on a web course. So that's what you'll be added to next semester. And in that application, you'll indicate who you are, where you are, and your areas of interest. So if you know what population you'd like to work with, or you have an idea of something that you might want to explore, that's the time to let the field team know that. You are not responsible for finding your own field placement. UCF will find you a field placement. There may be instances where you'll help us because you might be located somewhere we haven't placed a student before. We don't have any connections in the area. So you might be involved in calling agencies, but don't do it before you're told to do it. Let the field team sort of start that process and they will let you know specifically if you need to step in and help. Um, you will be added to a non-credit web course where you'll submit the application that I just mentioned, and then you'll be matched up with a field instructor to work on finding your placement. So, as I said, you'll get to indicate your populations of interest. That doesn't mean that you will definitely be there. Um, you have a generalist placement and a clinical placement, so it's possible that one of those two placements can be with a population you like. But we ask that you be very open to whatever experiences we can offer you. You might find a new population that you never thought you were interested in. You will do 10 hours per week at the agency where you're assigned for the 3 semester placement for the 1 year. And typically, we do not offer this one day of the week or after hours. By that, I mean after business hours, after 5 p.m. or on the weekend. Those are very rare. And it's not so much you can say, oh, this agency is available 24 hours a day. That's great, but there might not be somebody qualified to supervise you in the middle of the night if those are the hours you can make. So keep that in mind as we're looking ahead to field placement next year. You're going to have to think about any challenges in your way to these 10 hours that you're going to give to the agency. Um, in our advising portal, which you should have been added to after you joined the program, there's a great module on the field placement process, as well as some of the examples of locations where you might be placed. So for your generalist year, you're thinking about community advocacy. So you might be at an agency where you're doing tabling events, just letting the community know what resources are available through your agency. You might be placed at it's no longer 211. I can't remember what it is. Do you remember? Is it 922? There's a new number for it, but basically it's a crisis hotline where people can call and get resources in their community. So that's a place where you might find yourself working. Some people work at schools, some people work at hospitals. There are a lot of different placement options. So take a look at that module in the advising portal, and you'll get a lot more information. Getting connected. So as I said, your UCF email is going to be the most critical point of contact. That is the only place technically we're allowed to send you messages. So if you get messages, or if you thought we would use your personal email, we're not able to. We have to use your UCF email. If we don't hear from you through UCF email and we need to get in touch with you, we might call you on a phone number that you provided or reach out to you through web courses directly. But please check your UCF email for important updates from us, as well as from UCF in general, financial aid, the registrar's office, all sorts of different people might be trying to reach you there. Faculty and advisors, you'll see in each of your classes in the syllabi what the preferred method of contact for your faculty member is. Minoska and I prefer email, but your faculty member might request that you message them only through web courses and not through an email. So be sure to check that so you know that you're reaching out to the preferred location. Success coach. Well, the next slide we'll talk about Barbara a little bit more, but she's just a great contact while you're in the program. She doesn't necessarily assist with academic stuff, but she's going to be somebody that you'll want to reach out to if you're like, oh, I haven't been in school for a long time. I can't remember how to study. I don't know how to manage my time. I have too many responsibilities. I don't know how I'm going to fit 10 hours a week into my schedule that's already busy with life, work, family, all that kind of stuff. She's a great individual to speak to about managing those things. As I mentioned, we have the online advising portal through web courses, and that's just kind of a 24-hour advisor to you. So if you have questions and, it's 2 a.m. or you're studying and it's after hours, after business hours, you might find the answer through the advising portal. So the calendar is there, your plan of study is there, information about field and other things are listed there. So I would really encourage you to check it out, spend some time investigating what is available there. And then we also have a Facebook group. You're not going to miss anything if you're not on the Facebook group. We post everything to the Facebook and to the advising portal, but it's a place where people are more vocal. So we have alums on the page, people who are posting books for sale, recommendations for instructors. They might have jobs in their area that they're looking for. Some of these students have been out of the program for a few years and are now supervising interns. And so you might make a connection there to have a qualified supervisor after you graduate, or they might know of a placement location that is of interest to you. So it's a really great way to get connected with a greater MSW community from our school. So, but you won't miss anything important, no critical updates there that are not also shared in the advising portal. So Minoska and I are your academic advisors. So the simplest way to remember what we help with is academic stuff. So that means your plan of study. What classes are you taking? Clarifying academic policies and procedures. What happens if I get a C? What happens if I get terminated from my field placement? That kind of thing. So those are academic things that we can assist with. Anything that's going to impact your academic performance. I'm having surgery, I'm having a baby, I need to take a break for some reason. these are things you'll want to reach out to Minoska and myself about so that we can help you to succeed through the program. We don't encourage taking breaks, but we know that that's something that happens. Life happens. We're the best ones to help you navigate that. We admit students every semester to the program, so we do have some ability to move classes in your plan of study to help you if you need to take a break or you need to switch some things around. But we ask that you meet with us before you start making any changes in terms of enrollment. That just helps us make sure that you're on track and we have everything we need to offer you so you can actually graduate.
Mm.
And then Barbara. Barbara's the success coach that I just mentioned. So while we help with academic things, she helps with kind of how to support your role as a student. So that means that she might help you with academic goals. How can you meet certain academic goals? She can work out a plan with you. She's also really great at connecting you to the resources that UCF offers students that might be a little challenging to work through on your own because as an online student, you may not feel as connected to the university as somebody who's on campus. So she's a wonderful person to help you with that. For example, if you're not sure how to use the library resources, she's somebody who can connect you with the librarian or give you some guides on how to search for things in the library or requesting things, even if you're out of state. And she's also just a really big champion of our students. So if you are feeling really down and you're not thinking that this is the right path for you or you're having trouble connecting with the material, she's somebody who's going to really guide you and give you that encouragement to get, through another day, through another semester. So we really encourage you to utilize her. You can reach out and make an appointment to meet with her. Even if you just want to say hi and say, I don't know if you can offer anything to me, but I just want to say, hey, I'm new to the program and I'd love to know what sort of support you can offer. So we encourage you definitely to reach out to Barbara and she'll reach out to you as well, sort of in just generic updates about like the upcoming semester and dates and things like that. So keep an eye out for her name on your email.
Yes, she's great. So definitely take advantage of her. Okay, and that's the end of our presentation. I will go ahead and stop the screen share.
So Michelle, it doesn't look like anybody else joined us.
No, no, but I really appreciate you meeting and speaking in a manner in which there were as if there were other people here. But
Oh, of
but I
course.
do have, yeah, I appreciate it. I do have a couple of questions. Um, First of all, so wait, I wrote them down really quick. Okay. In terms of the generalist placement, if I were to move, um, still in the state of Florida, I live in Florida, but I might be moving at some point from the Tampa area to Jacksonville.
Okay.
How would we go about doing that? Because I heard 6 months, and so I just and my husband and I we're trying to plan it out so it is a seamless type of situation.
Sure. So, I say 6 months. That's basically the time that they will first connect with you to the
Okay.
time that you walk in the door at your agency. It doesn't mean that it will take 6 months necessarily to
Okay.
find you a placement or secure a
Okay.
placement. What I would suggest is if you are in that state next semester where you're not sure exactly when the move is taking place, but you're
Mhm.
being asked to complete the field application for where you believe you will be in
Okay.
May of 2026.
Okay.
If you are not there yet and they're starting to look for agencies in that place, a lot of times agencies can do phone interviews or Zoom interviews. You don't have to physically be present in order to secure a placement somewhere else. But
Okay.
after you fill out that application with where you think you'll be, if
Yes.
you're not entirely sure of the date that you'll be there, if you think it will
Right.
be Jacksonville, if you think it will be very close to Jacksonville, you'll want to update your specific field instructor that you'll be assigned
Okay.
to, and
Okay.
then you can work with them. As long as you give them some notice, they might give you like, okay, you start in May. I need to know by February exactly where you're going to be in May.
Sure.
They'll
Sure.
probably give you something like that.
Yes, because it may be June.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
if there is like a month, difference,
sure.
how would I handle that, I
Right.
guess?
So, if it's something like a month, we usually start mid-May for the summer
Mhm.
semester. If it's going to be more than a couple of weeks, this
Mhm.
might be an opportunity where you don't move into field right away. You
Okay.
say, I'm going to take my academic classes, but I'm not going to start field until I know exactly where I'll be and I'm
Okay.
there and ready to be able to devote
Okay.
the time to it.
Okay.
So, obviously moving is stressful no matter how well you plan it and things happen. It might just be in your best interest to only take academic classes during that semester and push
Okay.
field starting off by one semester. So, if
Okay.
something like that happens, we can accommodate that. If it's only going to be like 1 or 2 weeks where you're not
Yes.
there, then you, the agency, and your field instructor can maybe work something out where you'll do like instead of 10 hours a week, you'll do 12 hours a week and catch
Okay.
up in the
Okay.
remaining weeks.
Or I might just have to move in May.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. This is helpful. Now another thing too is I know we're talking about a move, but if I don't move, um, I work at a school and I work in the student services department with the guidance. And there are two social workers. We do a lot of threat assessments and lots of different things. Cycles, they handle lots of different things in terms of when students need IEPs and everything that encompasses homelessness, all of, you know what I'm talking
Right.
about. But can I do a generalist at my school setting that first?
Possibly.
Okay.
There
Okay.
is a path to doing a placement
Mhm.
at your employment,
Yes.
wherever you work. There is like a separate form you'd have to complete when that field application comes out, and it's
Okay.
called like employment-based placement. So,
Okay.
if you're interested in exploring that, if you don't think you're going to move, or if you just want to see
Right.
if that's an option,
Sure.
definitely indicate that when you are doing your field placement process.
Okay.
And typically, if they do allow you to do an employment-based placement, they ask that you're doing something that's not your employment, not something
Right.
associated with your employment, and that you
Right.
are supervised by someone who is not your current supervisor.
Correct.
And
Wonderful.
then they only allow you to do that for one of the two placements. So either your
Right.
generalist year or your clinical
Right.
year.
Right.
But it is possible.
Sure, sure. Okay. That I think that's all that I have. Oh, and one other question. This might be a Barbara Bush question. Do we need an ID?
You don't need one. There's nothing that you would need it for unless you want it. And you
Okay.
can request one to be mailed to you.
Okay.
We can share that link to you so that you can request one.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
Just in
yeah.
case.
But for anything
Okay.
related to UCF, the only thing you need is your UCF ID number,
Yes.
which is your 7-digit number associated with your student account. But
Right.
otherwise, the physical ID you don't need.
Sure. I am so excited about this program. This
Mhm.
is something I have been wanting to do for years,
That's
and
awesome.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I am so happy, though, to hear what Ms. Hernandez just said about the first two classes are a little heavy. So, because I was thinking, because it's been a number of years since I've been in school, so it's been an adjustment, and
You're in
I'm a
good
little
company. We
I'm a
have a
little
lot.
type A.
Sure. Hey, you welcome to the club. You're in good company here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that first class is very different than the rest of your classes because right now it's a lot of reading, take a quiz, reading, take a quiz. Not a lot of
Yes.
interaction, if any, with your cohort mates or your instructor. That will be
Yes.
very different in your
Okay.
future
I'm
classes.
glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Yes. I mean, I like reading.
Sure.
However, I
Yeah.
want to learn from people
Yeah.
in the field. So,
Definitely. Yeah. So
okay.
that's coming. This first one is like, hey, we've got a lot of information to tell you and to
Yeah.
catch you up on, and then we're going to jump into the practice stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. It's nice to meet you.
You as
Yeah, it's good
well.
to see you face to face.
Yes, yes. Have a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much.
You too.
Thank
Thanks.
you. And thank you. I'm going to grab that in the chat that you just put
Oh,
there.
yes, yes,
All right. Yes. Thank you so much.
yes. You're welcome.
Take
Bye.
Have a
care.
great day. Bye.